Sometimes he would stay for a month at a time and he would watch me sleep. You whacked off to your own butt? Stop talking about lawyer shit. I'm trying to blow you. All right. It's me. I'm famous now, basically, because yeah, I did my live show that I was mentioning in my last video, and honestly, it was terrifying and I was scared the whole time. And, you know, there's room for improvement for sure, but like, I'm so proud of myself because I went to a show by myself, by my effing, sorry, try not to cuss in the first couple seconds of the video, by my freaking self, and singing new songs that I made in their entirety down to the beat. I see you Sunday morning watching old cartoons while I'm laying on you. And it was scary. And it was like a lot of people, like more people than I was expecting, and I did it. And that's the start. So on that note, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, listen to my music. That is literally the heart of all of this, and I work really hard on it. It snowed today where I'm at, which is like rare. It usually does not snow here, and I'm from Colorado, so I love the snow. Like, I actually remember getting an award for writing a poem about the snow when I was little, because to me, I know everybody's like, oh, the snow gets dirty and blah blah blah, but to me, there's quite literally few things on this earth that are better than stepping out into the snow and it's just dead silent. There's just nothing but snowflakes falling. You don't hear any cars moving, any people yelling, it's just like the world is almost on pause, and that is such a euphoric feeling for me. I love when it snows. I also dreamed about being in this sunroom when it snows, so I got to experience that this morning. It's a great day. I feel like very good about this year, which is new for me because I'm someone who catastrophizes and whatever, but I just feel like very at peace with myself and my trajectory. So now let's fuck it up with some horrible Reddit stories. If you didn't see my last video, I made it a point to look up the worst Reddit stories according to other Redditors, because I'm someone who spends a lot of time on Reddit. I've become desensitized to it. I listen to it a lot with Smosh and Two Hot Takes and whatever. So I'm constantly absorbing Reddit content. So it really takes a lot to surprise me. Like, they even had a story about this guy putting his ding-a-ling ding-dong into a coconut, okay, over and over and over again until he got flies up his pee hole. And that one didn't bother me at all. And we talked about last time too, some dude doing things to a girl who allegedly had an STD, and the STD had metamorphosized into a tangible rectangular block that he ate, which I think is stupid and not true, because listen to it. Oh, I ate a Jolly Rancher of gonorrhea. It doesn't make sense. And I'm not even being like euphemistic. Is that a word? I'm not trying to use a euphemism about that story. That literally was the story, that this guy ate a Jolly Rancher sized nodule of gonorrhea off his girlfriend. Didn't make sense. Anyways, I have found some great stories, and by great I mean terrible. I will give trigger warnings if they are necessary, because I promised that last video and I forgot to do it vocally, so I will vocally do it. But also you have to keep in mind that I'm like reacting in real time, so it's hard for me to like know what to preface anything with. Let's trauma bond. This one, when I search what are the worst, am I the asshole? Am I the devil? Am I overreacting? In terms of other Redditors ranking them the worst, this one kept coming up, okay? And the top comment that I can see is, original poster is a grade A douche nozzle. I will be stealing that. So I need to know. I don't have any context with neither of you. You know what? It's me. I was not reading the right part of this story. I read the last part of this story, but this is a whole saga of this guy being the worst, okay? And I was editing it back, like, why is this not that bad? Like, this is not that bad. Babe, I was reading only a little bit of the story. Okay, so now, baby, this might have gone from my shortest video to my longest one, because when I tell you you need to strap the hell in, I'm serious. I even put my headphones on with my mic so that I can give you some easy audio listening. I even put my headphones in so we can treat this like a little audiobook. And if anyone wants to sponsor me, then, you can do that. Okay, let's get started. Okay, this is called The Saga of the Father Who Keeps Failing to Be a Decent Person Continues, aka the story about the dad who tried to force his son to give up his PS5 to his half-siblings. Now, this all actually starts with the original poster's son posting about him. So this gets just, oh my goodness, okay? So here's the original post by the son. Am I the asshole for selling my PS5 rather than sharing it with my stepbrothers? My 15M, mom and they are British. The Fortnite. That joke actually is not going to make any sense because I'm going to have to cut in here where the other one started. So just know, just save that joke in your little noggin for later in the video, okay? My 15 male, mom and dad met and briefly dated while they were both studying at uni. My mom gave birth to me after they had broken up and had to sue my dad for child support. I was raised by my mom and had virtually nothing to do with my dad throughout my childhood. My mom was an international student and her family cut ties with her due to the circumstances of my birth. Tragically, 2 years ago, I lost my mom to cancer, and thus I was placed under the care of my dad. My dad has remarried and has 2 sons, 5 and 7, with his wife. It wasn't a bad arrangement at first, but we were all essentially strangers. I was given a bedroom to myself and we shared some meals, but other than that, kept to myself. Well, about 10 months ago, I was lucky enough to score a casual job at an aged care facility as IT support. It was at 15? It was stupid easy money, as it involves installing and maintaining a dozen or so common PCs used by the residents, plus running basic computing workshops. Yeah, totally. I definitely understand what you're saying. I ended up accruing a whole lot of disposable income. What kind of 15-year-old is talking like this? Anyways, in a short time. Stupidly, instead of just keeping quiet about it, I decked out my room with a new TV, headphone, and a PS5. That's not stupid. If you're earning the money, you should be able to do it. You should be able to do whatever you want with it. Obviously, this setup was of great interest to my 2 stepbrothers. Initially, my rule was that they could play the PS5 anytime I wasn't using it, but I would get first dibs if I wanted to play or use my TV. I was also super accommodating by buying an extra controller, which I didn't need, and several kid-friendly games that they wanted to play. I eventually had to change the rule to only play when I was there because the 5-year-old destroyed one of my controllers through spilling juice on it. This is where the drama started. They whined to my quote-unquote parents, who then quote-unquote ordered me to place the PS5 in the living room. I refused, stating that I had purchased it with my own money. This led to their argument that I have too much money and should contribute rent, utilities, and food money. He's 15! What? Oh my god. If my 15-year-old was making this much money, I would be proud of them. Like, what the hell? Okay, anyways. I called their bluff and said, sure, drop a contract and I'll get a lawyer to review it and ensure it complies with the Family Law Act. This is not a 15-year-old. I'm already kind of getting skeptical here because what 15-year-old is talking like this? Let me know. My dad then told the boys that he was going to buy a separate PS5 for the boys for Christmas, but the dude is clueless about the global shortage. Finally, last night, after realizing that he had zero change of buying one for close to RRP, chance, I think he meant, my dad threatened me to either voluntarily gift my PS5 to the boys for Christmas or he would toss it in the bin while I was at school. You know what? I'm sorry. Because later on in this, I go on a tangent about gamers because I thought that the gaming part of this PS5 part of this would be a stupid gaming boy, but the gamer is the only one with sense in this fucking story so far. Okay, I was so pissed that I went on Facebook Marketplace and sold the PS5. The boys found out today and were devastated. I feel really bad because they shouldn't be punished for this shit show. My quote-unquote parents are in the room talking about me and I'm sitting here in my room. How fucking immature can you get? Am I the asshole? How could I have handled this better? How does the 15-year-old gamer IT dude, which is usually a recipe for incel awfulness, have more EQ than the Update number 1. Wow, this blew up overnight. Firstly, thanks to all the kind strangers out there giving me your positive encouragement and support. It's quite humbling that so many took the time to read my story and chose to provide positive support. Some people were after an update of the situation. I'm at work now, but my stepmom had a chat with me this morning and it was quite positive. She said she didn't know about my existence until right before I came to live with them, and so it caused a huge rift between her and dad. She apologized for projecting that onto me and not being more welcoming. She also didn't know about my dad's threats and told me that it won't happen on her watch. Yes, stepmom, okay. My half-brothers also admitted to her about the juice incident. She said that she's going to get the boys a Switch for Christmas, and she offered to pay me the difference between RRP and getting a new PS5. What the fuck is RRP? I don't know. I probs won't take the money, but at least it's a step forward. This was the longest conversation I've ever had with her too, by the way. No comment from my dad yet, lol. To answer some common questions. Number 1, my bank account is entirely in my name only. They live in Australia, they clarify. No one else has ability to view or access the balance. I actually don't think my dad's demands for rent was about the money. They both earn a good salary. He's just butthurt that I'm not relying on his money. Number 2, yes, I'm really 15, lol. I typed out my post in Word and so that it could be spell and grammar checked. Maybe that's what confused people? Damn, okay, well, more power to you, dude. It's not about the spelling and grammar. It's just you're very articulate, which not saying a 15-year-old can't be, but damn. And just very emotionally intelligent. Number 3, I get Australian $27.50 an hour on a casual contract with additional loading for weekends and PHS. He's not talking like a 15-year-old. I'm so sorry. What 15-year-old is a contract worker? Friggin' I don't know. It's in Australia. It's a different country. I don't know. Australians, if you're in the chat or you're watching this, let me know. The operations manager at the aged care facility is super chill and allows me to schedule my hours around school. I just have a cap that I can't go over. She lets me do my homework on the clock and I get free meals from cafeteria. If I help the residents on non-facility devices, they usually tip me. In cash or sometimes cookies, lol. I've got a fair bit saved up because I don't really have any expenses. I've got a shoebox of documents from when my mom passed. I think my mom's assets is looked after by a trustee firm which will be turned over to me at 18. The law firm managing the will had previously explained this to me, but I wasn't really paying attention at the time. I've got to still go through everything. Number 5, I sold PS5 for a tidy profit even with the cost of damaged controller. I'm not desperate for one at the moment, so I'll just sign up for a waiting list again so I won't need to take up my stepmom's offer. This is probably my last post on the issue, but thanks again for the love, everyone. And it wasn't, because we've got update number 2. Oh my gosh, this is so long, and this is just the first part of the story with this man. Update number 2. We've got a gathering with the extended family today. This is the first time I've met any of them due to COVID, and they've all been super lovely to me. My stepmom showed them my original post, and they are all getting stuck into dad. Ooh, I'm assuming that's Australian slang, but I don't like the way it sounds. My uncle, dad's younger brother, has set up a Reddit account for him and he's doubling down as he thinks Redditors will take his side when they read his account of it. Oh, this gotta be where it starts. I'm not going to link or read his post, but people have been telling me it's quite a bloodbath. Here's where it gets fun. The dad did his own Am I the Asshole post to show people both sides. Let's do it. Here's the dad's post. Am I the asshole for asking my son to share his console with his brothers instead of keeping it in his room? A few days ago, my bio son, Jonah, not real name, I already hate how you're writing this, just say your son, posted a biased and frankly defamatory post about an incident in my home regarding a PS5. Oh god. My wife was kind enough to share the post and comments with our entire extended family at our Christmas gathering, so apparently now I'm a huge asshole. My brother suggested that I post here to set the record straight and give people both sides of the issue. Firstly, I never actually intended to charge Jonah rent. His job gives him essentially 100% disposable income purely because he lives in our household. He used this money to deck out his room, buy brand shoes, buy the latest iPhone, etc., all for himself. I couldn't care less about how he spends his money, but it does set a poor example for my other two boys. How? It's just setting the example that if you work hard, you play hard. You get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Are you dumb? I already know you are, but like, bro. And talk about a defamatory blah blah. Oh my goodness gracious. Ugh, okay. I'm sitting back because I'm already getting stressed. Oh no, I read it. Okay. The last straw was when Jonas set a login password for the PS5. I basically told him that if he's not willing to share, then why should I give him a free ride? First asterisk. My son should be grateful. While we shared DNA, I only dated his mom, May, not actual name, for all of 5 months back in uni. I was very clear with May that I didn't want kids, but apparently consent doesn't go both ways. Aren't you only watching him because she passed? I'm gonna start to get really fucking angry here soon. Because also, if you don't want kids, don't fuck raw. Like you dummy, dumb idiot. Consent doesn't go both ways. It doesn't go either way when you're not using protection and precautions. May put me through legal hell and ended up costing me tens of thousands of dollars over the years in child support, setting my own goals back. Then wear a condom. Your fucking dad should've. Instead of letting Jonah end up in a group home, I stepped up and took him in when May got sick. Instead of gratitude, I constantly have to deal with disrespect and attitude. Bars. Because of Jonah, my wife thinks I breached her trust, all for something that happened well before I met her. Doesn't sound like she thinks that. I mean, she did say that there was a rift, but also, yeah, there was a rift because you didn't tell her about his existence. So you did breach her trust. Okay. While the boys previously did have access to the PS5, he now won't let them play it now that school is finished for the year unless he's home, which he never is. Okay, but they're 5 years fucking old. They're not responsible enough to handle technology like that because they already spilled shit on it. While the boys previously did have access to the PS5, he now won't let them play it now that school is finished for the year unless he's home, which he never is. I gave him the ultimate. It's ultimatum, dumbass. I gave him the ultimate of either sharing the console or no one gets to play with it. In response, he pulls the most passive-aggressive move ever and sold it, so now no one plays it. So listen, how am I the asshole here? I've taken in this kid into my home, a kid who, by the way, will receive a sizable inheritance in a few years thanks to May's estate. I've given him a home, a family, and fund his lifestyle, but you don't. He's saying that he funds his own lifestyle, all at the cost of my own relationship. No. It's at the cost of your relationship because you didn't fucking tell your wife that you have a son. Oh man, okay. In return, I haven't asked for a cent, and he won't treat me with respect nor follow my rules, but somehow I'm the giant asshole who's in the study typing this out instead of enjoying Christmas with my extended family. No, this makes you even more dumb because why are you doing this on Christmas? Why are you on the internet like, yeah, I could be enjoying time with my family, but I gotta turn to the internet to have them validate me because now everyone thinks I'm a huge asshole. First of all, you should be discussing with the actual people in your life because your wife is the one that told you and the extended family that you are being a douche nozzle. Oh my god, and there's so much more. We haven't even scratched the surface, okay? Instead of attacking me, I'm hoping people will now give their fair opinion of the situation based on seeing both sides of the story. Oh, I'm sure they did. He also provided a heated update in the comments. Yes. Okay, clearly this hasn't gone down the direction I thought it would. Clearly, some of you have issues with comprehension or just can't be bothered reading my comments fully. First point, I want to be clear. I never threatened to collect rent from Jonah. I don't need his part-time work money or about his inheritance money. I make a very good salary, probably more than the vast majority of people who use Reddit. Okay, so then why do you care about their opinion? If you're so much better than everybody in the comments, why the fuck do you care? I simply tried to explain to him that he has all this disposable income because he doesn't have to worry about basic needs. Well, yeah, that's kind of what happens when you raise children. You cover their basic needs. This child should get emancipated at this point. I don't know the age of emancipation in Australia, but I hope that he's eligible. Point 2. I didn't explain it properly at the time because we were arguing, but my intention wasn't for Jonah to give his PS5 to the kids permanently. I just wanted to keep it in the common area until I can buy another one for the kids. But you make all this money, babe. You make more money than everyone on Reddit, so what's the holdup? Go buy a PS5 now. Because your 15-year-old can do it on a disposable income, so you have all this money, go buy one. And also, it's not his job to put his belongings in the common areas. It is his property. Jonah never told me about the controller. If he had, of course, I would have replaced it. That's not an issue. And it wasn't an issue for him either, it sounds like. He just then wanted playtime to be supervised because the kid is 5. And the other one is 7. Point 3. I expected him to not be so selfish to his brothers. Keeping it in his room under password protection is so rude. Bro, what's really happening here? Are your kids annoying and so you don't want to deal with them and you need someone else to or something else to parent them like a PS5? Like, why are you not providing enriching activities for your children? So much so that they have to be so devastatingly reliant on other people's property. Do you want to talk about he's teaching them bad values? You're teaching them bad values to utilize people's property without their consent, damage their property, and then still have the expectation of no boundaries around said property. He's not being rude and selfish. He is establishing a boundary because he's extremely emotionally intelligent, more so than you as a fully grown man. Go get your kids. Why don't you don't even have to get them anything. Go the fuck outside with them. Go play with them. Like, what? Okay. Jonah gets home really late most days, so my kids are in bed by the time he gets back. Boo-hoo, bitch. I dare even say that a 5 and a 7-year-old should get very little screen time. We all should probably we all should get less screen time. So you're also instilling the habit of not finding more creative activities to keep yourself occupied. What is this even? 1, 2, 3, 4. Point 4. I won't debate the nuances about S and custody. I'm not an idiot. Really could have fooled me. I understand perfect consent and parental responsibilities. I will just say that there's a large gap between consenting to sexual relations versus consenting to having a child. I get that our current laws are against me on this one. You should have used protection. Point 5. I didn't intend to quote unquote lie to my wife. No, don't quote unquote that. You lied. Jonah and May were something way in the distant past for me, so you're a piece of fucking shit because you can just have a kid out in the world and not even give a fuck. Our settlement agreement was very clear on that. I had absolutely zero communication with May or Jonah for at least the 10 years prior to finding out about her illness. My child support was at a fixed rate, so I had actually paid her out a lump sum that was supposed to take care of him until 18. So you have enough money to pay whatever lump sum amount for this other child, but you don't have, like, what is it, $500-600 to go get a PS5? It wasn't like it was getting taken out of pay every week. Point 6. As far as I knew, I was never supposed to hear from Jonah or May ever again. Why would I tell my wife about something like that? Yeah, why would I tell my wife that I have a whole fucking son? Because I was supposed to never hear from him again. I was hoping that would be the case. I was hoping to never reunite with him ever again. So why would I tell her about that? Keep in mind, y'all, this is just the first part. Oh, brother. Okay, now that was supposed to be final. But the saga continues with a slightly different mishap. The dad made another post regarding issues with his son. Let's hear it. Am I the asshole for intercepting and eating my son's food delivery while he was grounded? Bro, this one guy could make up the entire sub of Am I the Asshole and Am I the Devil in Reddit. How are you a human? Okay, my eldest son, 16, is undergoing a hormonal-fueled rebellious phase. His behavior consists of things like rolling his eyes when I talk, back-chatting when I tell him to do something, overemphasizing putting on his headphones when I enter the room, and a whole laundry list of other passive-aggressive behaviors. I would do the same shit if I was around you. It was his birthday. You really can't read or write. It was his birthday yesterday, and he was going to go out with his friends this weekend to celebrate by paintballing. However, when I got home from work yesterday, I noticed that he had failed to do some chores I had set him and then did the whole headphones routine when I started telling him off for it. I got so sick of his attitude that I threatened to ground him. He's putting it in italics because he knows that Reddit's going to be like, so you're a dick. And he's like, no, I didn't actually. I just threatened. I didn't actually kill that lady. I just threatened. Okay? I threatened to ground him for 2 weeks, which meant not letting him leave the house except for work. My words clearly cut through his headphones, and it dawned on him that he would not be allowed to go paintballing this weekend. So, he took off his headphones and said, "Go fuck yourself," and then shut himself in his room. This naturally led to his actual grounding. No, I don't buy it. I don't think that there's any version of reality where you are going to convince me that you threatening wasn't actually like you're grounded. Because why would he respond like that if you were just like, hey, if you keep doing this, I might ground you? No, you definitely said, what if I took away your paintballing shit? And he said, go fuck yourself. Like, what if I made your birthday horrible? The grounding didn't seem to faze him as he spends a lot of time in his room anyway. I cut off his devices from our home Wi-Fi, but he works around this by having his own hotspot. He refused to come out for dinner last night when my wife asked him to and has basically barricaded himself in his room. At 10 p.m. last night, he ordered himself a meal via a delivery app. Again, he has clearly been passive-aggressive here, flaunting his independence as he has a perfected lovely meal in the fridge made by my wife. I was still up watching TV, so I intercepted the delivery and ate the meal myself. At some point, my son must have come out and seen me, but retreated back to his room without saying anything. My wife thinks I am a major asshole for eating the meal, but I think it comes part and parcel with the grounding. My wife also thinks I'm too harsh due to the grounding. Oh my god. This writing is horrible. I'll let him go to the paintball if he apologizes. So, am I the asshole here, Reddit? Oh god. Oh god. This post in turn fueled an update comment from his son. Oh my god. I love that this whole family drama is unraveling in front of us. I actually don't. It's very sad. Keep your fucking family drama to yourself. Especially the parents. Like, I'm not faulting the kid. But the dad? Bro. Updated comment from the son. Hi everyone. Sorry for hijacking the top comment. This is my dad's post. How fucking embarrassing for him. How embarrassing that you have to argue with your dad publicly on Reddit. Thanks for everyone's support. I don't think I need to add any more fuel to the fire here, already starting off more mature than the fucking dad. The posts in the comments largely speak for themselves. I just wanted to give a quick update to everyone that I'm 100% fine and okay. My stepmom vetoed my punishment, so I'm all good to go out with my friends this weekend. One of my new uncles has asked me to stay with them for a while, which is also super cool. So I'm doing well and loving life. These comments are hilarious. Much love. Bro, do you know how much of a fucking dick you have to be for your own wife to cut your own family? Even the extended family is constantly telling you that you're a fucking asshole. Another post. My male 34. Wait, he's only 34? You are like young, but also too old to be acting like this. Like, what in the fucking fuck? Okay. When did he have the kid? Okay, anyways. Well, I guess he's 30. Could have had it. But how would he have been in, I don't know what uni is. I thought it was university, like college. He would have been like 15 or 16. I don't know how Australia works. Oi, mate. I've got kangaroo on the barbie. Okay, anyway, sorry. I, male 34, wife, female 29, and I regularly attend formal functions once every 2 weeks. I work as a consultant, and these events are a great way to attract new business and for network. My wife generally dislikes these things, but she puts on a good front for me. It's generally a good night involving lots of food, alcohol, and socializing while our kids are looked after by a sitter. Due to the pandemic, we haven't had any for about 2 years, but they are now starting to come back. On a function 2 weeks ago, my wife came downstairs dressed in a pantsuit and her hair in a simple ponytail. Oh god. Don't get me wrong, she still looked amazing, but pretty much all the other ladies wear ball gowns or cocktail attire. When we talked about it afterwards, she told me that she was sick of the hours of hair, makeup, nails, and preparation, and that if I insist that she go, she will dress how she pleases. I tried to explain that these things are a necessarily part of my industry, but she wouldn't budge. She counters that she never drags me to any of her work functions, which I responded that we should compare pay slips, which was clearly the wrong thing to say, and she left the room. Oh my god. Well, clearly your pay slips aren't paying for anything, bitch. Okay. After the argument, I tried to make it up to her, so I ordered a very nice and expensive gown for her to wear for the next function. She doesn't want to. Oh my god, how can one person be so fucking obtuse? I even took it to our tailors for adjustments as they know her measurements. When I presented the dress to her, she was initially very happy and said the dress was gorgeous, but as soon as I mentioned that she should wear it for our next function, she immediately blew up at me. She thinks I am being manipulative and going against her wishes. I thought I was just offering her a nice gesture. Am I the asshole? It's the way that this guy is using Reddit as a fucking diary, and he's just not understanding that absolutely no one's gonna be on his side ever. Okay, more. Update. My wife has left. Original comment by him. I'm sure many of you would be ecstatic to know that my marriage may be over. I came home this evening to find that my wife and my 2 younger boys have left. Probably at her mother's house. My oldest son is still staying at my brother's house since beginning of January. This has hit me hard, as Redditors now like me. What? Oh my god, he can't. The fact that this is so grammatically piss poor is just, ugh. This has hit me hard. As Redditors now remind me on a daily basis, I now know I have been a shitty husband and father. I have some self-reflection to do. I am stubborn, but my wife has always been there to talk me down. I guess she has had enough. The only communication I have is a text from my wife saying she wants a divorce and that her lawyers will get in touch, quote unquote, regarding separation arrangements. Also, he put "she wants a divorce" in quotations too. Like, why do you keep putting things in quotes that are literal? I have tried calling, but it keeps going to voicemail. Same as my in-laws. I want to apologize. I want to offer to go to counseling or therapy like she asked. If I still can't get through to her via phone, I'm thinking of going to my in-laws' house. I have to try to at least talk to her. No, you don't. Respect her boundary. But you're not good at that. I guess my Redditors hate me. But I welcome any suggestions on if there's anything I can try. Oh my god. I'm drinking out of a coffee mug that says "don't be a prick." I think that I should send it to this guy. Okay, more updates from the dad. Hi all. I need some advice about how to win back my wife, and I am genuinely willing to do anything. My wife of 8 years had been having some serious relationship issues over the last few years. The main area of friction between us is that I have a son, male 16, from a previous teenage fling that I never told her about. We also have another 2 young children together. My 16-year-old had to come live with us about 3 years ago because his biological mother passed away. His presence in our lives caused a lot of tension between my wife and I because she felt I majorly breached her trust. You did. We argued more and more about minor things until last Thursday I came home to an empty house. I am devastated. My wife is the love of my life and has always been the main support center in my life. I tried calling her, but she kept sending me to mail. She sent me a text saying that she wasn't ready to talk, but was filing for a divorce and to wait to hear from her lawyers regarding separation mediation. I am a wreck. I would do anything to have her back, including counseling and therapy. She had previously asked me to attend, but I was too arrogant to take it up. Oh my god, who is this? All my exes? Bro. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? Like, ugh, boohoo, cry me a river. I felt that if I could just talk to her, I could have a chance to explain and we can get through this. The next day I did something stupid. Yeah, that seems to be your fucking, track record? Not track record. That seems to be your forte. I went to her workplace, accounting firm. Why did you do that? Because she says she's not ready to talk. So now you're being, okay. With her favorite takeaway lunch to try to talk to her. She must have worded up the reception staff because they adamantly refused to buzz me into the office. Her staff even went as far as calling for building security. Not wishing to cause further drama, I left voluntarily. Oh god, there's so much he's not telling us about this relationship. I wish the wife would post. I hope the wife somewhere in this saga posts. But if not, we're thinking about you, girlie. You made the right decision. That night, I doubled down on my stupidity. Oh god. I tried to visit her at her parents' house with a bunch of gifts for her and the kids. My mother-in-law answered through intercom but wouldn't let me in. I was so frustrated and emotional that I broke down their door, basically making a scene and refusing to leave. Oh my god, this guy's a psycho. Why are you he is fascinating. Because why are you divulging this much information on the fucking internet? What are you doing? Later, my brother turned up. I assume my wife called. He tried to convince me to go home, but we ended up in a shouting match. He eventually tried to manhandle me back to my car, so I got into a physical altercation with him, but I left when my father-in-law came out and threatened to call the police on me. So now you're fighting with your son, your wife, your brother, the in-laws. Who are you not fucking fighting with? Like, things have really gone downhill since, you don't fucking say. This morning, 2 police constables turned up to where I work with a provisional domestic violence order along with a summons to attend court for a permanent order. I was in shock and as a result was inadvertently quite rude to the constables. Something tells me that you're quite rude no matter what. This put them offside. I am a contractor working at a client site, and so when my client asked the constables what the matter was about, they said they couldn't say for privacy reasons, but then immediately handed out business cards with their Family Violence Liaison Unit title embossed at the top. Yes! So now, my firm's senior partner has waved me off going back to the client site, and I may be fired. Oh, this is a glorious, beautiful dumpster fire. This is like, what is that Grecian god or god's son that like flew too close to Icarus? He is Icarus. And he flew too close to the damn sun, and oh, he is spinning down to hell, and I love it. Okay. I feel like this is the wake-up call I needed. Doubt it. I know I have been a narcissistic a-hole, you spelled narcissistic wrong, and am ready to change. What can I do to talk to her? To show her I am determined to be better? I don't want it to just end like this. I know that if I had a chance to explain myself, to apologize, to promise to work really hard on my marriage, to work on my narcissism, to go to therapy, to go to counseling, whatever my wife needs to forgive me, and we can get on with our lives. What does narcissism mean? Huh? Because it sounds like something your wife just said and you're just piggybacking because you're trying to show that you're listening, but you don't actually even know what it is. What are the narcissistic traits that you're displaying? Tell me. How are you going to fix them? Let me know. Our court hearing is in a few weeks, so I am thinking of turning up early with some expensive jewelry. Stop trying to barter her out of her feelings and her decisions. You don't respect anyone or anything. Narcissism. Yeah, you're right. Our court hearing is in a few weeks, so I am thinking of turning up early with some expensive jewelry and try to talk to my wife before the hearing. My solicitor has told me this is a bad idea, but I feel like I need to do something. No, you need to respect that she does not want that and leave it. Listen to other people for once in your fucking life, because when you listen to you, it doesn't go well. I don't want to negotiate with my wife across the courtroom. I just want to remind her how much I love her and how much she means to me. What can I do to win my wife back? Has anyone else being in this situation? TLDR, my wife has left me and won't talk to me. I caused a scene at her work and now there is a potential legal action against me. I want to win her back. Update. I get it. It's over. You guys are right. I fucked up. Irrevocably this time. I think that's also misspelled. Irrevocably this time. I've lost my family and likely will lose my job. I've always tried to control everything in my life. It's worked for me in the past because my family is wealthy and they fix things for me. Oh, of course you're a fucking Nepo baby. You're probably a mama's boy too. You probably have the worst fucking mom on the planet. And also, why aren't they fixing you now? Maybe not, because maybe even your own parents have had enough of your shit. And this even more furthers the, why was it taking so long for you to get a PS5? You're wealthy, you come from wealth, your mom-in-law is talking you over in intercom, so I'm assuming your wife also comes from money? Like, what's the tea here? Anyways, but my wife and brother must have spoken to my parents because they said I can't use the law firm my family has on retainer for my domestic violence order or upcoming separation proceedings anymore. Yep, there we go. I answered my own question. Your own family hates you. I'll hire my own solicitor as soon as stuff starts opening. I'll seek mental help too, but most importantly, I'll leave my wife alone. Thanks for your comments and advice. I doubt it. Top comment, and we're not done yet. This is just the first part. The dad needs to get his eyes checked because he clearly can't see how big of an asshole he is. Dad wrote a novel about the kid rolling his eyes and failed to mention a single time that this child had his only parent pass and had to move in with strangers who clearly didn't want him and a dad who clearly resented him his entire life. Oh my God, yes, we got a comment from the wife. This is such a full-fledged fucking, I love this. This is a movie. It's a soap opera. This is incredible. This should get an Oscar. Okay, so this is from the son and the wife. Because he posted something that said, my wife wants to divorce me and won't talk to me. How can I win her back? All right. She said, the username is throwaway_dad is a doof. Hi, everyone. A lot has happened over the last few months. My stepmom has been reading all of these posts and comments. She saw that he's now saying that he will change and hoping to gain some sympathy from it. She emailed this today to pass on to people can decide. Oh my God, no, you're picking up on your dad's inability to write. She emailed this today to pass on to people so they can decide if he deserves any. I have not edited it in any way, just copy and pasted. Let's fucking go. Hi everyone. I am not a Reddit user, but I have been following the messages that my stepson and soon-to-be ex, why can none of them write? My soon-to-be ex has written. I would also like to thank the hundreds of kind people who immediately saw through his bullshit and gave him some hard truths. I am also grateful of all the well-wishers to me, my sons, and Jonah. Apart from the few incidents last week, which isn't the complete picture by the way, oh we know, he has stopped trying to contact me directly. But I'm hearing from my mutual friends that he is on a mission to garner sympathy, trying lay blame for his life falling apart everywhere except for himself. It does sound like a narcissist. Also ill to the fact that he still has friends. I note that he is throwing a pity party for himself on Reddit too, hoping to get people to congratulate him on how much he has changed. Ha! I want to set the record that this man, this quote-unquote man, yes, get him, quote-unquote man, all caps, deserves no sympathy. I have been with him for 8 years. Yes, I realize that I am a naive idiot, and I take my part of the blame for not only sticking around, but for having 2, now 3 incredible light of my life, adorable children with this quote-unquote man. Don't call yourself an idiot. You guys were young when you met. Let's see, 8 years. You're 29 now. You met when you guys were like 20, okay? So don't call yourself that. I will lay out the autopsy of my marriage and let people judge for themselves. What beautifully macabre cinematic phrasing. Let me read that again. I will lay out the autopsy of my marriage and let people judge for themselves. I met him when I was 21. There you go. A broke uni student trying to make it on my own. I met him while working at my part-time job. I was taken in by his looks, his wealth, and his confidence. We got married within 3 months. I was stupid and vain, tricking myself into thinking he was the prince to whisk me off to a better life. After our wedding, the manipulation started. He wanted to convince me not to continue my studies. You don't need to, babe. I'll look after you. You just look pretty and look after my house. Excuse the fuck out of me. Okay. Makes the dress comment make more sense. After the birth of our first child, I took 12 weeks off for maternity leave. I was pretty established in my job by then. He again tried to convince me to be a stay-at-home mom. He tried to gaslight me, saying that it's not fair on your son, and that his fondest memories as a child was with his mom at home. Throughout the marriage, he would constantly use his wealth as leverage. My dad, bless him, is a good tradey, but terrible businessman. Early on, my ex arranged a loan through his family trust to rescue my dad's business. My ex would then gently remind me of that fact every time we disagreed about something. He would constantly monitor my credit card usage. He would question me on certain transactions that weren't to his liking, i.e. fashion, gym, hair, Botox, makeup, completely fine. But a latte and a muffin? Who the hell did you have coffee with? Oh my god. He would constantly provide input on my appearance. As an example, he would show me pictures of celebrities and tell me it would be nice if I dressed and did my makeup more like that celebrity. He would also make offhanded comments about what I ate. Are you sure you want to order that in a main size? Didn't you have a sugary drink already at lunch? Or my personal pet hate. Pet hate? Ooh, is that like Australian pet peeve? I think my wife will have the salad tonight. Oh, bitch. Okay. I know this is already so long, but tangent. I went on a date when I was in high school. And first of all, a dude picks me up and he's talking in a Stitch from Lilo and Stitch voice. He's like, buckle your seatbelt. Or like whatever. It was so fucked up. Anyways. And we got to IHOP. And he was like, yeah, so you're going to get a water and a salad because basically that's all I can afford. And no joke, I fucking fake called. Didn't even have someone call me. I just literally picked up the phone. He could definitely tell I was faking. And I said, Mom, what? Oh my God, there's a sale on school supplies. I gotta go. I really gotta get those staplers. And deadass, that's what happened. And then I left. So, yeah, fuck all that. At the industry awards or charity things we went to, he would tell me who I should talk to. I can't tell you how many inane, vapid conversations I've had with other spouses about the latest bags or some other bullshit winter collection. I once made a joke about him in front of some of his colleagues, and he scolded me like a child on the car ride home. You all know about him hiding Jonah's existence from me. What you may not know is that he lied about Jonah's mom and made her out to be a gold digger who tricked him into having a kid. Yeah, a 15-year-old gold digger, yep. This is why my initial reception of Jonah was definitely not warm, and I am ashamed for it. Yeah, even if the mom was a gold digger, you shouldn't take it out on the kid, but at least acknowledge that. He's a really decent and sweet boy and is so kind and patient with my 2 boys. He deserves better than his dad, damn. I can go on for pages and pages. This list doesn't even begin to describe the level of narcissism, manipulation, and control he had over me for the last 8 years. I know I'm equally to blame for this, but I'm done with it now. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't confident enough. I didn't want to say no to a quote-unquote man who gave me everything. Even now, at weak moments, I feel myself start to miss him and wonder if I should just endure it. That maybe he'll change just enough that I may be able to live with it. But then, his recent fake pity party bullshit snapped me right out of it. I don't want his money. I don't want him. I just want my kids and I to live our lives free of him. Thank you for reading. Wowee. I mean, and yeah, I get that. I've had a lot of toxic people in my life that were there for so long that, like, you know, they get ingratiated in your daily routine. So it's normal to miss people that you know are not good for you. But I'm glad that she snapped the fuck out of it because this man is absolutely damn terrible. Okay, this has been so long, so I'm gonna get back to the video. Holy shit.
This next part is still about this freaking guy, haha FML.
I had it all. I had everything. A beautiful wife, gorgeous kids, an awesome house in the suburb. It's suburbs, plural. A well-paying job and a bright future. It all came crumbling down last week. My wife left with the kids while I was at work. Took me by surprise. No, Susan! Ugh, not my boys. Sure, we argued about little things like any other couple, but I had no idea she would hit the exit button so suddenly. I am a good provider. I have nice shiny things, and we were, I thought, a great couple. Sometimes these things just aren't in joy. Now I'm sitting alone in a house filled with nothing but memories and silence. The most painful part is that I feel like I can get my life back on track with a gentle nudge. Then nudge yourself. Unfortunately, my wife won't give me a chance to talk one-on-one. Next time I see her, we'll likely be on the other side of a conference room with lawyers. Maybe I've changed, maybe we both changed. All I know is that I still love her and it hurts every day. I just want my life back. Oh, brother. Oh no, I think there's an update. Okay. I, 35 male, have recently separated, divorced, not finalized. Yeah, that's what separation is. Sorry, based on my last video, which I literally filmed yesterday, I am inclined to just hate men on Reddit. The ones on Reddit specifically. I, 35 male, have recently separated, divorced, not finalized, with my wife, 31 female. We have 2 primary school age boys together, which I have custody of 1 weekend a fortnight. Okay, so I don't know how necessary that was. I'm telling you, this girl is a light skin of a cat. She is me. Because she needs so much attention, but then I want to turn around and give it to her. She don't want it anymore. Anyway, so yeah, if you see her booping, bopping around, I can't help that. Now, I harp a lot on gleaning what you can from a Reddit story based on how it is typed. And once again, shocker, I don't like how this is typed. Because I don't like that he's saying, ooh, I have primary custody of our 2 school-aged boys 1 weekend a fortnight. In parentheses, Friday to Monday morning. Okay, so why not, instead of saying fortnight, you just fucking say, I have custody Friday to Monday. Fortnite doesn't mean that anymore, you fucking dork. It means a video game now. One that I'm really good at. Where we dropping. I fucking remember recently, I played Fortnite with the sound off because my audio bar was having issues. So I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear people sneaking up behind me. I couldn't hear shooting. I couldn't hear not shit. And I was absolutely dominating, okay? I got a fucking no-scope sniper shot. I think I actually got a victory with no sound. So just know that for me, baby, when it comes to Fortnite, you're talking... Why are my hands like that? When it comes to Fortnite, this is how gamers talk. When it comes to Fortnite, ain't nobody fucking with me. You're not. You and your Monday through Friday Fortnite. Get on some real Fortnite. Where are we fucking dropping, boys? Honestly, all I need is a shotgun. I'm nice with the shotgun. The sniper and ARs are just a bonus. But listen, oh my god. And tangent, because I know I'm going to end up hating this man. And I did see that it was something about like video games. I have played Xbox with multiple men. And I will tell them ahead of time, like, I play. And then they'll get on my Xbox and do something stupid. Like they won't know how to, and by the way, stupid because these boys end up being that shit. So I'm not just calling men stupid, but I'm calling these ones stupid. So they will get onto my Xbox and they won't know how to do a simple thing. Like, first of all, they'll try to take over and be like, okay, I'll get us to where we need to be. And then I'll be like, yeah, you gotta press like the left stick. You gotta press the bumper, blah, blah. And then they'll be like, what? How the fuck do you know how to do that? You know how to work an Xbox controller better than me and you're a woman? Babe, I told you, I do this. I play this. Okay, like, it's so annoying that literally men will get flabbergasted that I'm actually meaning what I'm saying and I fucking play. And I don't even know why they would get flabbergasted by it, because I feel like women are very outspoken about video games. And a lot of women aren't just going to lie and be like, yeah, I play Xbox, when they actually don't. Like, I actually play, babe, and I am better than you. I want to start a Twitch, but I need to figure it out. Let me know if y'all would watch that. But say yes if you're nice. Tangent aside, holy shit. I work fairly long hours, and every week my team goes out for dinner/drinks on Friday night. It's important team bonding, and I feel these sessions are a critical part of my job. What do you do, IT? My girlfriend, Jane, 25. Oh, girlfriend. Oh, we moved on. So wife from, okay, girlfriend. Okay, girlfriend is a primary school teacher from a different school to my boys. Are you saying that she teaches your boys, or she's in the district but she does not teach your boy? Because if you're fucking the teacher, I'm gonna get upset. Okay, I'm going to get upset because that's not what you're supposed to be doing at a parent-teacher conference. You're not supposed to be like, yeah, they might have an A, but I'm trying to give you this D. Figure it out, bro. Don't. My girlfriend Jane, 25 female, is a primary school teacher from a different school to my boys. I recently filled out a form with my boys' school to designate Jane as a guardian for purposes of picking up and dropping off my boys at school. Let me guess, you didn't even tell your wife this. Okay. I commute the other way to my work on Mondays, whereas Jane works at a school near our boys' school. Okay, so different schools, thank fuck. With the current custody arrangements, it's only one pickup and one drop off a fortnight if Jane was to do it. Stop saying fortnight, you pretentious asshole. Just say she's got to pick them up Monday night. Unbeknownst to me. Is he British? Because even then, I still feel like he's being exceptionally precocious, whatever the fuck. Unbeknownst to me, the school sent the form to my ex-wife for her signature. My ex is now super mad at me. From my perspective, Jane is a perfectly acceptable person to look after our boys, as she is my girlfriend, a qualified educator, and the boys get along well with her. She only has to pick them up and drop them off, and maybe look after them for less than 2 hours without my presence. Okay, well, the mother of the children doesn't want it. My ex says I'm an asshole and is saying that I'm trying to shrink my responsibilities. I'm trying to shirk my responsibilities. I don't think that's fair. My ex is going through her lawyers to specifically write to me saying they prohibit this. I think she's overreacting because she's jealous. Am I the asshole here? Yes. 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 Look, you're making me like devolve into cursive singing. Yes, you're the asshole here. Yes, you should have no fear, 'cause your new girlfriend's a decade younger, and you're just a creepy dildo. Oh yeah, you're the asshole. It's really obvious. I don't know how you don't know that you're. Make me wanna burf. Okay. Well, I safely agree about douche nozzle. Okay, this one sounds absolutely crazy. So, trigger warning for, I have not read this, but what I did see was mentions of like violence, I don't know, directed at who. It could be animals. There were like mentions of somebody having serial killer tendencies, so just know that. Title is, I stood by and allowed my wife to almost unalive our son. And I was happy she did it. Okay, fair warning, this one is long as hell. And he's right. Apologies for that, but this is very hard for me and I have been carrying it for a lot of years. On the advice of my therapist, I've written it all out to try to work out my feelings on it. He didn't advise me to submit it to Reddit, of course, but I have struggled with this for a long time and I need to hear other people's opinion on it. I still really have no idea how I feel about it, even after all these years, but I will submit for judgment by the masses. I know I did wrong on some things, probably a lot of things. I tried to do my best that I could. My son was very troubled. Very troubled. If you've seen the movie We Need to Talk About Kevin, it will really help to understand what I'm talking about, because I swear to God, when I watched that film, I thought I was watching a documentary of my life. I felt like the writer must have had cameras hidden in my damn house. That's how accurate it was. I have never seen We Need to Talk About Kevin, but I have dated many white men that are scary. So, you know, I can only imagine, babe. I can only imagine. And I like how they're writing this. It's like articulate, but not articulate enough to be fake, at least for now. I don't know. The only difference between our life and the movie is that in the movie, the boy appears normal to his father and only reveals his true nature to his mother. With my son, he did not have that mask. His insane behavior was the same with everyone. From the day he was born, my son just came out wrong. Oof, that's a rough sentence to read. He was planned. My wife and I tried to get pregnant and were ecstatic when he was born. He was wanted and loved. We showered affection on him and really tried to give him a happy childhood. But from the day we brought him home from the hospital, he was miserable. He cried for 13 months straight. I'm not exaggerating. 13 months without a break, he cried until he had no voice left and kept crying. You could see his little face scrunched up and no sound coming out, totally hoarse. There were times he would literally be crying in his sleep. Okay, me too. I've never seen of or heard of any other kid able to do that. We brought him to doctors, specialists, tried changing his diet, held him, rocked him, toys, swaddling, music, mobiles, everything we could think of. Nothing worked. 13 months of grating, grinding, no sleep hell. Whew, sheesh. Once he got over the crying stage, we thought we were out of the woods, but it quickly became clear that for some unknown reason, he was just angry at being alive. I never saw that kid have a genuine joyous smile once in the time I knew him. I saw him grin a vicious, horrible grin many times, taking a perverse pleasure from causing pain or suffering or breaking a rule. But a smile from real pleasure at something nice? No, never, not once. He had no interest in anything positive. He was fueled by hate and everything he did was bent toward that. As soon as he could walk, his mission in life was to destroy things. He would break or try to break anything that came in his range, smash it, chew it, throw it in the toilet, whatever he could. After a while, he figured out how to get his diaper off and took great pleasure in shitting and pissing anywhere he could. After a while, he figured out he could hide it and started pissing and shitting in the places we wouldn't find right away, grinding it into the carpets, making it even more of a problem to clean and making the house stink. When he got older, ages 19 to 15, he would piss and shit in our bed? Who is this, Amber Heard? Oh my gosh, this kid is a nightmare. Okay, then he'd just take a dump in the hallway in front of our room. Oh my goodness, it is Cat Central today. Okay, in front of our room. That biological warfare started around 2.5 years old and he never grew out of it. I'll try to speed it up as I could literally go on for days about this stuff, but as he grew older, he became more and more unmanageable. He would bite, kick, scream, scratch, and spit at anyone trying to do anything with him. He was kicked out of school twice before he was 9. Then let him back in and then kicked him out for good. He had to change schools. The next one put him in a special class that kept him away from the other students. We had to install a door and lock on the kitchen because he would steal knives and use them to gouge the wall/furniture or chase people with them. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's giving sociopath. Which is interesting because it does kind of play back into that nurture versus nature side of things. So I'm actually in school for psychology. I want to eventually open my own practice and, you know, the music thing is my main focus, but I'm really passionate about it. And I just think that this one is extra fascinating to me because typically I am someone that thinks that things are nurtured. Okay, I don't think a baby is born with hate. I don't think XYZ. I think a lot of serial killers actually historically have patterns of abusive environments or head trauma, even like falling off a swing, hitting their head, that kind of thing. So if OP is really and truly to be believed and they did everything they could, then that's got to be such a frustrating, awful feeling for parents to know that you wanted this child and you want to love them so bad and you're doing everything in your power to give them resources to be as successful in life as they can be, but something is just off in their brain chemistry. Like something didn't formulate correctly, something's not growing at the correct rate, something's synapses are not firing correctly. I can't even imagine that as someone who wants to be a mom someday, hopefully soon. I wouldn't even know what to do with that. I really wouldn't. I've also read that stabbing things, like stabbing beds, stabbing inanimate objects is indicative of a larger issue. It is almost like on the same path as the hurting animals thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where this goes. But it's interesting because I am such an emotional person so deeply that I try to understand the brain of a sociopath. And to my knowledge, like it is so fascinating because quite literally, I was over here like, that is insane that you don't have feelings. How do you not feel something about that? Whereas they're probably looking at people like me like, that's insane. You just feel everything all the time. That's so annoying. Like we're both conversely looking at each other as an anomaly. And also I think it's interesting that a lot of violent killers, it's almost like a video game for them. Like, if you kill a dragon in a video game, okay? Because I was like, how do you actually get yourself through the process of unaliving something? With it screaming and fighting and kicking, and like, how do you not snap out of this mode that you're in? And the best way I could like try to rationalize it is almost thinking about it like break of reality, like a video game. If you're gonna go kill the final boss and you're stabbing this dragon or whatever, and the dragon is hurt and all that, it doesn't bother you emotionally because it's not real to you. And a lot of killers are able to dehumanize their victims to such an extent that their victims also are not real to them, or they are real, but they feel that they have wronged them. Oh, you think you're better than me. You're more attractive than me, smarter than me. Well, I'll show you who has the power here. It is insane what the human brain is capable of in both good and bad ways. And yeah, I'm a true crime girly, but even me, I'm very sensitive. Like, I'm not kidding. When I play video games and I have to kill something, I feel guilt about it. Except in Grand Theft Auto, I'd be punching the shit out of people. Punching, shooting, explosive punch, kick, boom, bam. Something about that game makes me let it all loose. But I just find it very fascinating and disturbing. Continuing on. When he was 10, he stabbed me pretty good in the hip and ass. That's what I'm saying. It is indicative of a worsening issue, a larger problem underneath. They're going to get more and more violent as time goes on because they need that dopamine hit. But also, I just watched the JK podcast, so this is making me think about when Kathleen stabbed Jesse. So funny. So funny. If you don't watch that podcast, you should. Anyways.
I don't think I could take this on the plane. It's a knife.
We did talk about that. I didn't check. I checked that.
Ow! Oh, I stabbed you so hard. I don't know why I did that. It was impulse, Benjamin. It just... Oh, no.
I still have scars. Wow. As he grew older, he grew darker into setting things on fire and torturing local animals. I could have called it. There was, oh no, I don't want to go into detail. Okay. Trigger warning, because I'm even triggered already. I just read the first part. There was a stray dog that hung out around the park near our house, and my son blinded it in one eye with a barbecue fork. He would dip Tat's... I'm like short-circuiting because I'm about to like get really emotional. This is scary. He would dip cats' tails in gasoline and light them on fire. Oh, I love you. I love you so much. I would never let anyone do that to you. Oh my god, I'm like so scared. I want to cuddle all my cats right now. My whole freaking mic setup just went out because of that. I hope the audio is okay from here on out, but if it's not, honestly, I seem to care more about bad audio than you guys do. Don't start getting upset about it now that I pointed it out. But yeah, I even have Kimchi. Don't show your booty hole here to comfort me because I might need it for this one. Okay. He would dip cats' tails into gasoline and light them on fire. He became a violent, stinking, vicious beast that lived in our house. We couldn't do anything with him. I will take this opportunity to preempt the tsunami of messages. Yes, we had the kid in fucking therapy. He saw a psychiatrist twice a week and had God knows how many different medications prescribed to him over the years. Nothing worked. Therapy didn't work. Meds didn't work. Nothing fucking worked. He was like a poison cloud of hate and fury, lashing out at anything in his reach. When my son was 16, my wife got pregnant again. Oh, I'm so scared. Okay, and I can't tell you how different our reaction was. Instead of joy, we felt horror. This pregnancy had not been planned and we really were at a loss over what to do. My son had been such an unending nightmare for 16 years, we couldn't take the idea of starting again from the beginning. We talked a lot about terminating, but A, access to ending a pregnancy was not as easy in those days as it is now, and B, my wife was very against it. We talked about many options. In the end, we decided that my wife would have the baby, and if it turned out evil, we would put it up for adoption. That's not funny, but it is low-key kind of funny. And also, that's not funny because you gonna make this baby a terror to somebody else. We knew we just couldn't do it again with another child like our son. We had a daughter. She was normal. Suddenly, we saw what our life should have been like the whole time. how things would have been had our son not been himself. She laughed at things. She breastfed without biting. She didn't have teeth yet anyway, but you could tell she was just trying to eat, not tear her mom's breast off. After 4 months, she was sleeping through the night. She was happy. She was normal. I can't describe the relief and happiness that we both felt. I don't have words for it. This is where I believe I may have started really pulling back for my son. Up until that time, whatever mistakes I made, I had always tried to do our best for my son. I tried to help him and love him and care for him. I really tried. But when my daughter was born, my wife and I both instinctively just turned toward her. She became our focus. Not for malice, but she just was so much easier. She was so happy and sweet. Every moment we were with her was like magic. I understand this was wrong, but honestly, we couldn't handle it. I don't have a better explanation than that. My son hadn't given a shit about my wife being pregnant. I honestly don't know if he really understood it, but when we brought our daughter home, he started acting out even more. Frick, I didn't save the whole post. Oh my gosh, I'm blue balling myself so bad. Okay. He started acting out even more. I didn't think it was possible, but he took it up another notch. At this time, he was 17 and we were having blowout screaming matches daily. Usually after we fought, he would storm out of the house and disappear for hours at a time or come back the next morning. It was a relief. I started to actually look forward to our fights because it would get him away from us for a while. After the birth of our daughter, my relationship with my son was almost entirely gone. Our only real interactions were screaming at each other. My wife was even worse with him. She just had nothing left. By that time, if our son even came into the same room as her, he would just stop whatever she was doing and start screaming, "Get the fuck away from me, get away, get the fuck out," until he left. He started spending more and more time out of the house, which was a blessing for us. I have no idea what he got up to out in the world, but we were just happy it wasn't being inflicted on us. As a consequence of our son's behavior, we had invested heavily in locks around our house. All of the cheap, thin interior doors in our home had been replaced with, think, dense wood doors that couldn't be kicked through, equipped with keyed locks that my wife and I carried keys to. I know it sounds extreme, but locks and heavy doors were the best way we had found to create safe spaces from him. And again, before I am inundated with messages, I was not locking my son in rooms like a prisoner. He had free reign of the house and could come and go as he pleased. My wife and I would lock ourselves in rooms to protect ourselves from him. If anything, we were the prisoners in our own home. On the day in question, I had fought with my son in the morning and he had left the house in a rage. My wife and I were enjoying some peace and quiet in the kitchen while our daughter napped in our bedroom. And then my daughter began crying. Any parent who has young children can tell you get used to your child's cries and you can tell after a while what they need. They cry differently if they are hungry or need changing or are just restless and want to be held. Babies can communicate pretty well before they can speak. This cry was none of those things. This cry was terror. Oh my gosh, this is like a scary motherfucking story. The second we heard it, my wife and I were both up and out of our chairs and running to the room. The door was locked, of course, and it took a few seconds to get the right key and get it open. My son was in the room. We lived in a bungalow, and the bastard had climbed in the window to get to her. He was standing over the crib with a steak knife in his hand. Whew! This is my booty hole's clenching. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. I'm like getting chills. Like this is freaking me out like he's in my house. I have no idea where he got the knife. It wasn't one of ours. We controlled our knives very carefully and always kept them in locked drawers. I think he may have stolen it from one of our neighbors' houses. He had broken her skin twice already, once in the belly area and once on her arm. I could see blood running down. Oh my goodness, this is so scary. Okay. When I entered the room, he was dragging the back of the knife down her face, not cutting, almost tickling her with it, teasing her while she screamed. He looked up at us and smiled. Before I knew what I was doing, I was already moving, running to put myself between them. I didn't think about it, I just moved instinctively. Even with that, my wife got there faster. It was like a movie on fast forward. She got to our son and bashed his hand away, knocking the knife across the room and then shoved him with her whole body weight, so hard that he flew away from the crib and bounced off the wall. I picked up my daughter and held her while my wife screened us. I could see her shaking, almost convulsing. I can remember the smell of the room, the sound of my daughter screaming and wailing, the look on my son's face as he stood there. Just nothing. Blank. Dead. There was nothing in his eyes, no emotion. He looked like an alien to me. I watched my wife take a step toward him. I could have reached out and stopped her, but I didn't. She stepped forward again, very close to him. I could have stopped her again, but I didn't. She waited, looking at him for maybe 3 to 5 seconds without moving, And then she punched him in the face. Now, until this point, you may have been picturing my wife as a typical woman. Small frame, dainty, delicate. This is not the case. My wife does have a small frame, but dainty and delicate she is not. Never has been since I've known her. Since her early teens, my wife has been a boxer. MMA didn't exist back then, but karate and boxing were big in those days, and my wife was a very talented amateur. I actually want to learn jiu-jitsu myself, especially because my last ex, who this honestly reminds me of, I'm pretty sure my last ex was a just straight up sociopath. And honestly, what made me realize that was all of my friends and family telling me that he was a sociopath. And it's not that I'm easily swayed by that. It's just I don't like to use words like that to describe people. I don't like to do narcissistic, whatever. I don't like to diagnose people, especially somebody that is studying and in this field, because I think that it's irresponsible. However, I do think my ex was a sociopath, or at least had sociopathic tendencies. And he was kind of unemotional like this as well. He's actually the one that got me interested in jiu-jitsu and like MMA and all that shit. And yeah, I wrote a song about it. Here it is right here. Sorry, but I am going to put it. I'm trying to be somebody out here. And then think of it like an intermission to this crazy-ass story. Okay, I'll see you in a sec. I'll make it quick, just like he did.
Cause I hate your friends, and mine hated you too. Even though friends have grown to hate, hated you before I even thought to know you wanted a barracks buddy, but you fell in love. Wouldn't know love if it hit you, though it's funny. So why side are UFC for?
She was about 130 pounds, she carried a lot of muscle, and she knew how to punch. I had 70 pounds on her back then, and I have no doubt that in a real-life fight between me and her, she could have and would have pounded me flat. Neither of us have ever laid a hand on our son in anger before, but something broke in her that day, and all the years of anger and pain and sorrow and frustration just came pouring out. When she hit him, his head snapped back, and blood started pouring out of his nose. He hardly reacted. He just looked at her with this shocked expression like he didn't know how to process what had just happened. She waited another second, and then she hit him again. I could have reached out and stopped her. I could have dragged her out of the room, taken her away, calmed her. I didn't. I just stood there and watched while she systematically started to pound him to a pulp. Every time he brought his hands to cover one part, she would blast him somewhere else. Body, head, over and over. He started screaming, crying out, yelling for her to stop. It's the most genuine reaction I'd ever seen him have to anything in his whole life. But she wasn't stopping. I watched her ramping up, hitting harder, faster, working him like a heavy bag. He tried to swing at her and she slipped him easily. She was on autopilot, sinking down into her training. I stood there watching for a minute. Then I turned my back on them and took my daughter out of the room. I brought my daughter to the kitchen and gave her a bath in the sink. I found that he had cut her a third time on the sole of her foot. All the cuts were superficial. I cleaned her up and held her until she calmed. I put polysporin and band-aids on her cuts. And in our bedroom, I could hear my son screaming, calling my wife horrible names, telling her he would cut her head off and... Oh! Okay, y'all, oh my goodness. Yeah, okay, if I already gave a trigger warning, but did more of it. Telling her that he would decapitate her and do inappropriate things with her corpse. And now that one really freaks me the fuck out because I have read about teenage, or young men killers that do that to their parents or their mothers specifically. They will unalive them and do horrendous things posthumously. Okay, I mean, yeah, I asked for the worst stories. I got them. After a while, I didn't hear him saying anything anymore. Didn't even hear him crying out. I assumed that he must have been knocked out, but I could still hear her beating him. That went on for a long time, long enough for my daughter to drift off to sleep in my arms. I just sat at the kitchen table waiting for her to finish. Finally, she came out and sat down across from me. Her hands were swollen and red, her face and arms were splattered with blood, her chest was heaving. We just stared at each other without saying anything. After a while, I asked her, is he dead? She looked back at me and answered, I fucking hope so. I nodded. That was all there was to say about that. I understood how she felt perfectly because I felt the same. I didn't know what to do, so we just sat there waiting silently. Eventually, my wife started crying and went to go take a shower. I just stayed where I was holding our daughter. This is a fucking scary story if I've ever heard one, man. We might not even have more for after this because this has still got a good bit left. But it's reading incredibly. Part of me hopes this is fake because this is an awful story for literally everyone involved to go through. Even the sociopath. Like, hot take, but like, sociopathic people can't help that they're sociopathic. They don't process things the same. And so there is a part of me that, like I said, I'm a strongly empathetic person. Not to Shane Dawson, but actually, I feel very deeply, okay? And so there is part of me that feels so sad for everyone, including the son, that you just got violently assaulted by your own mother and they hope that you are dead. And he maybe even heard them say that. But obviously, it's not anything that anyone wants. This isn't like a typical physical abusive situation between parent and child. I can't even say that I would have done anything differently because it's such an emotional high-stakes situation. He's already proven he has no boundary control. He has no empathy. He has no emotional regulation. He's sneaking in, putting cuts on the baby. Oh man, this is just a nightmare. After a long while, I heard moaning and sobbing coming from our room. It turned out that my son wasn't dead. I went in to see how bad it was, and it was pretty bad. I've never seen a more merciless beating laid onto anyone before or since. He was lying on the floor, rolling around with blood leaking out of his face, lying in a pool of vomit. His nose was squashed flat out across his face. Both of his eyes were completely swollen shut and starting to blacken already. I could see that a couple of his fingers were bent out at weird angles and he had pissed his pants. I think he must have been missing teeth, but I couldn't see any on the floor and I couldn't see inside his mouth. His lips were all puffed up and swollen. From talking to my wife about it later, I know now that she had systematically beaten every part of his body, focusing heavily on his legs. She told me she kicked him in the groin repeatedly until her legs got tired and had kept beating his body long after he passed out. When my wife came out of the shower, I still didn't know what to do about our son. I didn't know whether to call the police or an ambulance, take him to the hospital myself. I honestly didn't have any idea what to do. After a while, I realized that I simply didn't care what happened to him anymore, and we decided to just let him live or die on his own. There was an in-law suite in the basement that we had never really used, and my wife, my daughter, and I just moved down there. We simply ceded the top floor of the house to my son and locked everything down. Separated our lives entirely. There was plenty of food in the upstairs cabinets, enough for a couple of weeks or more. He had a washroom and bedroom to use. We had a washroom in the basement, a small kitchenette, and a separate entrance, so we just stopped going upstairs. We just decided we were done with him. I figured we'd let his food run out and see what happened. Over the next week, we could hear him moving around upstairs sometimes. I think he just spent most of the time lying in bed recovering. I went to work, watching on high alert in case he attacked me in the driveway. But he never did. My wife stayed home with our daughter. She was never out of our sight. One night we heard him going ballistic, smashing things and banging. We didn't respond. He never tried to get downstairs or get near us though. I think he was afraid that if he ever got near us again, my wife might finish the job on him. After 3 weeks down in the basement, we hadn't heard anything from up above for a few days, and I ventured upstairs to the main floor of the house. The place was demolished, and there was no sign of my son. He was gone. It took months to repair the damage he had done and get the main floor back to normal again. There was food and shit smeared all over the walls and broken glass on the floor, big holes in the drywall. He had ripped the place apart. He tore up the linoleum in a corner of the kitchen and emptied an entire foam fire extinguisher into the living room. I felt thankful that he didn't burn the house down with us in it. I'm honestly not sure why he didn't. The kid wasn't shy about lighting things on fire. After that, I lived in fear every day that he would come back, that he would ambush us out of the blue and try to kill us. We moved house about 3 years later, and I finally stopped being afraid that he would show up again, as now he had no idea where we were. I finally felt safe from him. All of this happened a long time ago. My son was born in the spring of 1971. My daughter was born in 88. I'm an old man now. I'll be 70 this year, and my wife passed from cancer in 2016. My daughter is 31 now. I moved in with her and her husband after my wife passed. I've got 2 granddaughters, and they are the joy of my life. I see a therapist a couple times a month to talk about all this. I don't know where my son is. The last time I saw him was when he was lying on the floor of our bedroom bleeding and smashed. I haven't heard from him since he left, more than 30 years now. I don't want to. I carry a lot of guilt from that time and a lot of conflicted emotions. I didn't beat him myself, but I allowed him to be beaten, and I thought he deserved it. I was happy it happened. I didn't try to kill him, but I would have been happy if he died. I will say that I do hope he was able to overcome his demons and go live a normal life somewhere. If he wasn't able to do that, if he stayed the way he was, then I truly do hope somewhere out there killed him. When I knew him, he was a rabid dog, and whichever way it went, I just hope he isn't still out there hurting anyone else. Wow. I mean, I don't think they did. I can't blame them for the way that they were. I honestly can't, because he sounds like a sociopath. And who knows? Maybe he went on to be one of the prolific serial killers that was never caught. Or there are so many serial killers that are active that we don't even know about. It's only the really gruesome, crazy ones that make it to the news. There are many, many more right now that we don't know about. I'm glad I'm filming this tonight when I'm about to go to sleep. But, wow. I mean, the comments that I saw were mostly agreeing with the parents that he would have killed someone. And back in 1970s, we probably didn't have the healthcare now. So, like, I feel like I would feel differently about it now. They probably could have got him, hopefully, better help. I hope he did become better. But, geez. And this was out of our confessions, too, which I've never went on before. But maybe I should, because what the hell? Serious? Most creepy confessions. I had a friend confess that every time he stayed in my apartment, which was frequently because we lived in different countries, sometimes he would stay for a month at a time and he would watch me sleep. I literally had some dude that I thought I trusted to cat sit, so he had my door code. And one time I woke up and he was just in my apartment with breakfast, like I was supposed to be happy about it. Dude ended up being a psycho freak. Yeah, anyways, my camera went off, but the audio is still going. So I'm just gonna say this. That dude ended up being a fucking psycho freak. I had to get my locks changed, bro. Like, this shit is not cool. But the rest of that comment was basically saying that he would watch her sleep, but he would watch her sleep with her husband right next to her. Like, what the? And a lot of comments are like, oh, I had a friend that did this and this and this. Why is this a common thing? Hello? Honestly, I feel like one of those dudes probably watched me sleep. I've had a couple of men that I thought were my friends that definitely were not, that were weird and creepy as fuck in my home. And like, wow, it's just so violating and I hate it. Okay, this is another confession because it's just really funny. When I was very young, like 12, and had no access to prawn or internet, I used my crappy Nokia and took a picture of my own butt from an angle where it seemed like a girl's butt, and I jerked off to it. I kind of missed the time my ass wasn't covered in hair. I had to turn the camera back on for that because you whacked off to your own butt? I was just here for some good wholesome confessions. What the hell? Okay. And then when I was in my early 20s, I met a guy I had been talking to online at an Arby's parking lot and gave him head. Like, he got in my backseat, introduced himself, and the entire conversation after that was spent with his D down my throat. He had an amazing body, but smelled like an Abercrombie and Fitch at the mall and wouldn't stop talking about wanting to become a lawyer. While you're going down on him, you're like, what? And he's like, yeah, so legally, this would probably be a case subsection 54C. And like what? I was quite uninterested in conversation, so I told him to get out of my car and we parted ways. Stop talking about lawyer shit. I'm trying to blow you. I ran into him at a restaurant a few weeks later and found out we went to the same college. I invited him over after that, and I ended up having to walk through my entire apartment complex dressed as a slutty school girl because he couldn't find my apartment. The sex was amazing, but we never spoke again after it was over. I gotta pee so bad. Thank you for being here. I'm traumatized. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, listen to my music, and I will see you soon.
Baby, I don't have the time to try to be nice anymore. Hope you don't mind if I ignore you and everything you say for the rest of our lives. Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you over all the ambience of this big city. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm sorry, this high-rise has got a lot of wind noise, just enough to block out your bullshit and your boys. I'm sorry that I'm built for all the things you dream of. I'll think about you at that Michelin star restaurant.
Table for two? Don't be insane. Table for one.